Hello, Joni. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am doing good, Elijah. How are you?
I am doing quite fine, and thank you so very much for being here. God's gracious gift. It's so nice to have you here. So, you see, oftentimes, Jenny, I love to thank my guests for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, Johnny, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You say you are on this platform right now because you did invest that in yourself. And oftentimes, Johnny, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. They say some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Johnny, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it. And the leaves, they were all dry, So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Johnny, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, mm, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. Immediately, Johnny, I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, Johnny. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day, and I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing journey that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, Journey. Your work, your philosophies, your insight, the impact your work is having, and how you are offering your solutions, Johnny. This stuff's so beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Johnny is doing. And not only me now, because, I don't want to look selfish and evil with the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Johnny. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, Johnny.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. So let's get right into it. You see, Johnny, I am quite excited to have you on the show today for a few reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Johnny, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge alone, but the application of it. And you see, Johnny, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the incredible Johnny on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So those folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, Johnny, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Johnny, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. Want to know how Joni got here? Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Joni, over to you.
Thank you. So, my name is Joni Becker. I live in Minnesota, USA. By trade, I am a CPA or certified public accountant, but I like to say by night, I am the spiritual warrior. So, I've been drawn to God really all of my life, although I've traveled rather circuitous paths to get here. My mom swears we went to church a lot when I was little, but I told her I don't remember that. So it wasn't really until I was in my teens that I had friends that belonged to church and they took me to church and I really developed a love for the Lord, but still not really following in Him. My husband and I moved to East Tennessee in the early 90s, and that's in the middle of the Bible Belt of the USA, they call it. Lots of very more outgoing worship than in staid conservative Minnesota. So I got to go to a lot of different denominations of churches, which I thought was a really great experience, not growing up in one particular religion or another. I was open to everything. And, when it all comes down to it, for all of our differences, it seems like we all love God and believe in Jesus and just want to worship Him and be in a relationship. But so a few years ago, I had a very vivid dream. It wasn't the first time that I had a vivid dream like that, but it's one that has stuck with me for years. It seems so real. And it really, I felt like it was God calling to me. Let me tell you about the dream. So I was home alone and I was sitting on my front deck and on the front of the house. And for some reason, I walked around to the side of the house and there were these big boxes there. There was 4 of them. And when I got closer, I realized they were actually instrument cases, like you would put a trombone in or something, and it had the gray felt in the inside of it where the instrument would fit. But when I unlatched it and opened it, it was full of money. Money just came pouring out and pouring out. Stuck on there was a picture, like, torn out of a magazine of a famous singer. I don't know who it was. I just knew in my heart that he was famous. And it had some writing on it, like it was ripped right out of a magazine. It, it was very, like I said, it was very, very real. And so I was seeing a Christian counselor at the time who was very in tune to God and called. So I sent it, he typed it up in an email and I sent it to her. And she said, as soon as she started reading it, that she felt the Holy Spirit speaking to her. And what she said was, it's by using the instruments that God has given you, your voice, your brain, your creativity, to advance His kingdom, that the money will come in more than you can count. God will deliver it to you as you use your God-given instrument to deliver His message. And that I was alone signified that it was specifically for me, that the message specifically involved myself. And one of the cases, 3 of the cases were instrument cases. One was an amplifier. And she says the amplifier and the picture of the singer put specific detail to the voice or words spoken. And the magazine page gives specific detail to the written word. And the gray foam represented protection and safety for all of my instruments. And finally, at the final one, she said, if you are brave enough to step out, He will give you protection and plenty. So that was in 2016. So this has been fermenting for a while because I'm praying about it and saying, okay, God, where do you want me to go with this? What do you want me to do? And I've always loved books. I've loved books. I've loved reading. I read a wide variety of books. When we moved back to Minnesota from East Tennessee, I had 25 boxes of books. Fortunately, now they have a lot of ebooks, so it doesn't take up quite so much
Right.
space. But I probably have thousands of books on my Kindle. So I was, thinking along and hearing God was leading me and giving me some ideas about a Christian bookstore, gift and bookstore. But I live in a small town of about 20,000 people. And there's not going to be enough here to generate business to keep something like that open because you've got the cost of the storefront and then all the fixtures. And this was in 2016, 17, certainly there was e-commerce. It wasn't very nearly on the level it is today, but I thought about doing an online bookstore. And then I thought, my husband's always complaining about all my books. And I thought, what if there was a way where Christians could go sell their books online? And Amazon allows you to do that, but how many books are listed on Amazon? Millions and millions and
Right.
millions. So what's your chance of standing out on there and actually selling a book? And I actually listed some books on Amazon, some used books, and in 6 months I sold 2 books. And then too, at the same time, I realized that Amazon was kind of pushing down more of the Christian books, that they weren't being promoted as much. And I'm in several writers groups, Christian writers groups, and they complain about Amazon all the time, and Amazon takes so much of their money. So anyway, what I ended up with was kind of a cross between Amazon meets eBay meets Etsy, and we came up with ChristShare.com, where people can go on and sell their used Christian books. Or if you're an independent author, well, if you're any author, really, you can go on there, sell your new books, new Christian books, old Christian books, and it is only Christian. So it's a safe space for Christians to come. And we have such big dreams beyond just the books. We want to add music and movies and things like that as we go along. But even more than that, we want to create community between Christians. So we're looking at adding some different, more community-based things, or like meet the author type events. That would be kind of like this, only you get to meet the author and ask questions. So we've been
Amazing.
working. Yeah, we've been working on it for about 2 years now, and we're just now in the launching phase, and it's all set to go, and we're looking for readers and writers to come and join us on ChristShare.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And now the dream is all coming to pass because
Yeah,
you're utilizing your gift already. And I tell
yeah,
you, this is going to be very, very impactful. And I would
yeah,
ensure that I also check out ChristShare because I've got a
yeah.
couple of books on Amazon and they've just been
Sure.
suppressed and suppressed and suppressed. So I would love to check out ChristShare and thank you for
Yeah,
doing all of that. So
yeah.
let's say we've got some authors here who would want to understand how ChristShare provide a solution. So I want you to talk more on that. So how does ChristShare provide a solution for authors?
So authors can come and list their books there. They're not just one fish in a huge pond like they would be in Amazon. Like I said, this is completely Christian. Readers benefit because they know when they go in and buy a book on ChristShare that it's going to be a clean Christian book. We have a self-reporting system set up. So if you come and look and you say, wait, that is totally not a Christian book, you can report it to us. We can investigate. We also have filters on when people list their books. But for authors, it provides them another outlet. And we're also going to provide a Christian author promotional service, because one of the things that we hear from authors is that they love to write, they write beautiful stories, but they don't know much about marketing their books. So we're going to help them with that, not only just in the general sense of ChristShare being there and that opportunity, but, we can do some press releases for them, some social media posts and that kind of stuff to get their book out there. Um, one of my mottos has always been, do what you do best and hire the rest. So what they're usually best at is writing, and they're not the best at promotion. So we're going to have put together some very affordable packages and then some larger, more saturating
Beautiful,
things. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. So what has been the hardest part of building this?
We have faced a lot of setbacks. I got to tell
I
you,
know,
it
right?
has been a challenge and a journey. When we set out on this, myself and my program manager, Antonio, who's wonderful, he's my best that I hired. He handles all the back end stuff. But we have had the craziest stuff happen, and we have started laughing about it because it's like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. If it's weird, if it's unusual. One of our programmers had his ear cut off in a car accident.
So sorry.
2 2 of our programmers got caught up in flooding and were out of pocket for a week. They had their computers with them in the corner of nowhere, still trying to work while they were flooded out of their house. Antonio's internet cable got cut off by his yard guy. We've
Mm.
had to switch softwares a couple of times. We had our site go down a couple of times. We've had to upload and re-upload our starting inventory because problems have happened there. And what has started as a 6-month project has turned into a 2-year journey. But, we live and we grow on the way, and every time that I've started to get discouraged about the whole project, it seems like God shows up and says, "Nope, you're right on the right track. You're right where you need to be." I'll get a message from somewhere, and it's like, "Whoa, they wrote that one for me. Thank you, Lord, for the encouragement."
Wow. And I love how you framed it in the beginning. You said you've had series of setbacks and you've just been laughing. And that's very
Yeah,
important. The Bible says that when we face diverse trials, we have to rejoice. And I love
yeah,
that. That's a beautiful one. Thank you for always laughing. That's very
yeah,
important. And when one is fulfilling God's intention for creating one, the devil always ensure that he wrestle against it. And I love the fact that you are not stopping. You keep going. That's so beautiful. Thank you for all
yeah.
that you're doing. So what about this one? We have 2 more to go. What advice would you give someone who is currently sitting on a dream?
Just do it. Take those first steps and let God lead you. Step out, and believe me, it can be very scary. There's not only the fear of failure, but there's also the fear of success, which if this, goes really big, how is it going to change my life? Am I ready for that change? So it's perseverance is huge, and commitment to your project, staying close to God. Definitely. So he'll lead you in the right direction. In addition to a lot of setbacks, we've had a lot of synchronistic connections, that we've found. So God puts the right people in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
If God's calling you to do it, if you're feeling it in your heart, if the signs are there, take the first step. Take the first step, and then God will take you the second step.
Mm, mm, amazing. Take the first step, and God will take you the second step. I got that. Divine synchrony. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Jenny, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about the wonderful stuff you're doing, be a part of ChristShare, or even ask you questions, how can that be possible?
Yeah. Yeah. I encourage you to come and check out ChristShare. We're just getting started. I have my own inventory on there, and it's about 400 books. That's kind of our start. We're looking for both readers and writers. We would love you to join in our Christian community as the world gets scarier and scarier. I think it's really important for all of us to band together and be our support for one another. If you would like to reach me, you can email faith@ChristShare.com, and I'll get that email. I would love to talk to anybody. We're looking for sponsors and advertisers if you'd like to become part of the community, blog writers, people that would like to submit their stuff to go on our blog. Again, like I said, we're trying to build a community here, not just a website.
Community, not just a website, because it is a movement, and I love it. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Jenny. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing this lovely stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.